And we are now joined by Israeli Ambassador to Washington, Yechiel Leiter. Ambassador, thank you very much. Welcome to the NewsHour. Our condolences first to you and your team on this horrific day. I know you've just arrived here in Washington, but what did Yaron Lashinsky and Sarah Milgram mean to your embassy?
They were two beautiful young people who came with dedication to their work every morning. Yaron was an intellect. He had served in the IDF. He had moved from Germany to Israel early on. Very smart, very able. Sarah was just a beautiful young lady. She radiated, came in every morning with her red hair and lit up the embassy with enthusiasm. They're both a great loss to all of us at the embassy, and I think to really to humanity.
What does this say about the threat to your staff, to staff at other Israeli embassies and diplomatic institutions around the world, perhaps even the threat to Jews in general who attend public events like this?
But look, there's an international attempt to delegitimize and demonize Israel. We're called the worst kinds of names. Our prime minister is called a war criminal. All of our soldiers are referred to in such derogatory fashion. And the ultimate result is going to be people streaming through the streets of campuses, screaming from the river to the sea, which is a genocidal chant, which is basically calling for the elimination of Israel. And if there's a genocidal idea, ultimately people are going to take guns and use them against Jews. That's what happened. Anti-Semitism is as old as the Jewish people. It just takes on different forms. Today, that form is anti-Israelism and anti-Zionism.
The Anti-Defamation League cited the highest number of anti-Semitic attacks last year since it's been started measuring a half century ago, including a nearly 900% increase in the last decade. Police say that the war in Gaza has accelerated incidents, but what do you think is the cause of this kind of hate?
Well, the war in Gaza is a response to a Nazi-like attack on our civilians. We're responding to violence. What's causing this spike in anti-Semitism, and the ADL is spot on in their figures, is the demonization of the state of Israel, the attempt to say that we are interlopers or colonizers or occupiers, that we don't really belong. So if we don't belong, we need to be removed. If we need to be removed, that's an eliminationist way of thinking. And almost anything that's done, whether it's violent or violent verbiage, is permitted. So obviously there's going to be a spike. The battle against anti-Semitism has to take the form of battling against this delegitimization of Israel. We're the people of Israel. We've been there long before there was a geographic location called Palestine. We'll be there long into the future. And that is exactly what we're fighting for.
As we heard in the story that aired right before you and I started speaking, Prime Minister Netanyahu, Foreign Minister Sa'ar, blamed the murders here in Washington on UN and European officials who've criticized Israel's recent block of humanitarian aid from reaching Gaza. Do you believe that your two staff are dead because of foreign officials' critiques?
Do Prime Minister Starmer and President Macron and Prime Minister Carney have some explaining to do? They certainly do, because what they are attempting to do is unilaterally declare a Palestinian state. They want to give a prize to Hamas, as if October 7th should be Palestine Liberation Day. Leading the charge in this is President Macron. It's a contortion of morality. This is almost, I would say, moral depravity. You don't award terrorists with sovereignty, with recognition. So do they share in the blame for the rise of anti-Semitism? Absolutely. Stop beating up on Israel. Stop condemning us. Stop delegitimizing us. We're not doing anything that is comparable to what we're being charged with doing. I lost my son, by the way, who led forces into Gaza on foot. We didn't strafe bomb population centers. If we'd be guilty of what these Western leaders are accusing us of, my son might be alive today. So please, don't give us lectures of morality, Mr. Macron. The French army has a long history of all sorts of violations around the world. We are in consonance with international law and with moral law.
May your son's memory, sir, be a blessing. The new plan to distribute aid into Gaza, the prime minister has talked about that today, this U.S. company that will move into Gaza with U.S. security. Prime Minister talked about, quote, the Palestinian population will move there into these new pockets for their own safety. How will this aid distribution work? Are you using these aid distribution pockets in order to move the population into certain areas?
No, actually, we've moved populations earlier in order to move them to safety. The food under this program, the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, will be distributed instead of doing it through Hamas, will be done in distribution centers. Each distribution center will be able to service some 300,000 people. The food and aid will go directly to families, not to organizations. So the people that need it most will get it. This is a dramatic improvement in what's been going on until now, despite the fact that the humanitarian aid that we've been providing, these 92,000 trucks, 1.8 million tons, despite the fact that it was going to Hamas in large numbers, we continue to do it.
Finally, sir, I don't have that much time left, so I just wanted to return to Yaron Lashinsky and Sarah Milgram. Both of them worked on coexistence, as you know. What do you think the best way is to continue their legacy?
The best way to continue their legacy is to forge forward with coexistence and at the same time to continue to defeat the evil that is intent on preventing coexistence. The attack on October 7th stemmed from Iran's absolute conviction that the Abraham Accords were moving forward, that coexistence was moving forward, and the attack was intent on thwarting that coexistence. If we defeat those who would stand in the way of coexistence, we'll be able to move to a peaceful Middle East.
Ambassador Leiter, thank you very much.
Thank you, Nick.